the shattering reason your own mind hides what it witnessed underground from the people trying to save you. In 2010, inside a collapsed copper mine beneath Chile's Atacama Desert, that silence cost 33 survivors 6 critical hours. They were alive. The rescuers were close. But what every man refused to say kept the drill pointed at the wrong wall. You think you know what you would do in a disaster. Stay calm. Tell the truth. Give rescuers exactly what they need. Every rational person believes this. But there is a force, invisible, ancient, measurable in frequencies you cannot consciously hear, that has been working inside the human brain during geological events for as long as people have gone underground. It doesn't care about your intentions. It reaches inside your skull and rearranges what you believe you saw. And the worst part, you will never know it happened. You will swear on everything you love that you are telling the truth. Here is what geology does when rock fractures. It screams. At 18.98 hertz, that's below the threshold of human hearing, so nothing reaches your ears, but your eyes receive it. Infrasound at that precise frequency vibrates the vitreous humor, the gel inside your eyeball, just enough to smear light at the edge of your peripheral vision. What survivors see is consistent across every continent and every culture. A tall gray shape, a silhouette in the rubble that moves. A figure that stood in the corner and watched them through every hour of darkness. Scientists call it the infrasound specter. And here is the detail that changes everything. Survivors don't report it because they are certain no one will believe them. So they construct a different story. A simpler one that costs rescue teams hours they cannot get back. But infrasound is only half of it. The rock itself generates something else. When granite and quartz fracture under pressure, they release piezoelectric pulses, bursts of electromagnetic energy that penetrate tissue and disrupt the hippocampus, the brain structure responsible for encoding accurate memory. What this means practically: the first 90 seconds of a geological disaster is the least reliable window a survivor possesses. That is also the exact window rescuers need most. Where were you standing? Which direction did you move? What did you hear before the collapse? The answers feel certain. They feel vivid. They are measurably wrong, not because you are lying, because the Earth rewrote the file before you even knew the file existed. In 2014, researchers at the University of Dundee cross-referenced survivor testimonies from 31 major geological disasters against seismic records, structural forensics, and physical evidence collected after recovery. The discrepancy rate was 71%. Survivors consistently misreported their location at moment of impact by an average of 42 feet. They misidentified exit routes. They described collapse sequences in the wrong order, and in case after case, they omitted a single consistent detail: the figure, the gray shape, the presence they encountered in the dark and could not explain. The detail every survivor decided in the first minutes after rescue was unsayable. That if they mentioned it, the rescuers would stop listening. That they would be handed to a psychologist instead of a structural engineer. So the figure stays buried. And with it, the truest map of what happened underground. Here is why that matters. Rescue teams orient search grids around survivor testimony. Every false 42 feet moves the grid. Every omitted landmark, even an impossible one, even a specter, could mark a structural void, a pocket of trapped air, a cavity where someone else is still alive. The infrasound specter is not a hallucination in the dismissive sense. It is a signal, generated by the geology itself, translated imperfectly by a terrified human nervous system, and the decision to hide it is not cowardice. It is calibrated, unconscious, and almost universal. Some rescue organizations have started changing the intake protocol. Instead of asking "where were you and what did you see," they now ask "what felt wrong that you haven't said yet." The difference in reported detail is significant, but adoption across international rescue organizations is under 12%. Which means that right now, in every active geological disaster zone on Earth, the most critical intelligence is being silently withheld by the people who survived it. Not deliberately, not out of shame, because the Earth compressed human perception into something socially unspeakable: a watcher, a figure, a presence standing in the fractured dark. and then encoded it in a frequency that bypasses language entirely and lands in the body as certainty. The geology didn't just move the ground. It moved the truth. It folded the most accurate record of what happened into the one-story survivors will never hand over to a stranger holding a clipboard. So here is what remains unanswered. If the infrasound specter appears consistently enough across cultures, continents, and decades of separate disasters, it is not a symptom. It is a signal, a pattern embedded in the geology of fracture itself. And if survivors are systematically hiding that signal from the people who need it most, the question is no longer whether the specter is real. The question is what it is pointing to, and why the Earth keeps sending it.